Ajay Alok respond to what Ashutosh is saying, that beneath that outward assertion of calm is an internal anxiety. Ashutosh says, look at the references to the Muslim League, Shehzada, Sultan, Ram Mandir. He seems to suggest this is a government and a prime minister that is on the path to try and polarize the electorate. How do you respond to this, Ajay Alok?
Well, Ashutosh is in full within his rights to make a comment, but I guess he has not listened to the Prime Minister interview carefully. Otherwise, he wouldn't have commented on electoral bonds, because Prime Minister very clearly mentioned that when people, businessmen used to come to us to give money, they refused to give us money by check, because they had the fear that if we give you by check, the ruling party or the opposition may be a problem or may be a cause of concern, so they never wanted to give it from check. And then came the idea of this electoral bonds. So I guess before passing any comment, you must listen properly to what Prime Minister says. Secondly, being a ruling party and in our manifesto, when we talk of Uniform Civil Code, which is there in the Constitution, which is there as a constitutional entity, and when our opposition party gets out with a manifesto which says that we are going to strengthen the personal law, we are going to enhance them, we will not oppose, we will give full statehood to Jammu Kashmir, we will not oppose, and in a way indirect mention of abrogation of Article 370, then the Prime Minister has to talk about Muslim League, has to talk about Shehzada, because the whole manifesto of the Congress and the other parties reflects a clear-cut mindset of destabilizing the country.
Mohan Kumar Amangalam, respond to what Ajay Alok is saying. Because the one place where the Prime Minister seems to portray Rahul Gandhi as being highly immature is where Rahul Gandhi says, if I come to power, I'll remove poverty. And the Prime Minister says these people have been in power for 5-6 decades. They couldn't remove poverty in all the time that they were in power. And Rahul Gandhi seems to think he has some kind of a magic wand. And to most people who are watching, the manner in which the Prime Minister takes apart Rahul Gandhi's argument, would sound quite convincing. There is no magic wand with which Rahul Gandhi can make poverty disappear.
Rahul, it depends on how you define poverty, because as far as this government is concerned, if you listen to the Niti Aayog or the chairman of the Niti Aayog, we've already eliminated poverty. As far as multi-dimensional poverty goes, whether it's 11% or later on the comment made or the statement made on it being 5%, less than 5% are poor. So what is poverty? First, let's define that. And what Mr. Gandhi said is the scheme that we're talking about in our manifesto, which is 1 lakh to the woman head of the household every year, will help us bring people above the poverty line, thereby eliminating poverty to that extent. And every government has built on the government before. Now, let me respond to what Ajay Alok said. He's talked about restoration of statehood of Jammu and Kashmir as if it's a negative. It's a Supreme Court order, and you have promised to do it as soon as possible as well. As far as restoration of 370, there's no mention of that in the manifesto. So please don't misrepresent what our manifesto says and stick to what you're going to say. Now, I will agree with my friend Ashutosh who said that there was a bit of turbulence, and I'll tell you why. Now, frankly, he should be as calm as possible, because this interview is not very dissimilar than the earlier interviews he's done, whereas it's entirely scripted. Rajdeep talked about some questions he didn't answer, Ashutosh did as well. Well, they weren't asked of him, why would he answer them? We've gone from talking about mangoes in 2019 to Musk in 2024. There's no mention of Manipur.